Having recently gotten into a book that focuses on the root mug in different languages, at least in part of this book, the word for crocodiles, kamug yati, is as good of a place to start as any when addressing the issues of Sobek, the crocodile entity. In more than one version of the drawing related to the stages of the afterlife, the weighing at the scales, we have this idea that the crocodile entity is hovering around or representing the space between the third and the fourth of 7 spheres. My last scrying session had something like that with 7 steps. And when you get past the 3rd chakra, if you've fulfilled things as far as the 3rd chakra, you're liberated in terms of this world for the spiritual world. And Sha'i, the crocodile who eats the hearts of the dead, is not an entity that is going to Sobek call you. You will be maintained. He's not going to be Sobek unfriendly to you. In an age where the liberal and the conservative, in any sense of the word, want to control you, sometimes it's best to identify with the entity of the boundaries, the wild one, the one on the edges, Sa, rather than the one deprived in the hereafter. We're working with Tchat Pardwatper, that singing crocodile who gives water to the dead. That is on our side because we have sung the formulas for ourselves. Whether we're good at singing or good at memorizing, we are doing what we can in the meantime, right? Because we have taken account of ourselves rather than waiting for the culture to judge us. We are ready for C, the interrogating crocodile. Sui. We are adored because we have adored the acausal of the acausal. In the 10th duat out of 12, Knt Ast, we have the destroyer of the damned bodies. Now, are we such that the bodies will have taken care of the consequences? Or are we such that our souls are going to be forced through what we are resisting? Certainly in what could come as part of the conflicts with all the politics and stuff is not good for our bodies, even at the point where that's it. But just because our bodies go doesn't mean our souls have to be destroyed too. The rehes, the fierce mouth of the Fayum, rehes an leh hasi an. We need to be such that it would chase out the influences that, as I mentioned before, would damn us. Thasam Tapa, the entity of the second of the month. Now, the second of the month in the more important calendars in this age is the second day in which one sees the waxing crescent. And the monthly cycles for a lot of people will sort of be over at that point. Some people, it may continue longer, but that sort of marks a point of that. And what is a githeh, a crocodile power? What does that mean to one? We have the Betujurst, the crocodile of the River of Fire. Notice that TJ, and the RS, and the BA, Betuj, Bestuj. And so one of the things that's mentioned in reference to what we call the Antichrist is the ability to make the water seem as fire and the fire seem as water. So we don't know by our mere perceptions which one to enter into. And it's important for us to consider variations in what that could imply. Every single thing in the tarot card or the astronomical scene that we are interpreting, the hieroglyphics, every single one of those things has importance for our lives and our meaning. And that line's continued. That looks more like a foot, but we have the Sobek. And so, the crocodile per excellence. Sunkas. And we have various variations of crocodile. Sobek, Naba Yuru, Sobek Im, Shadet, Sobek Shadeta. Notice how we have that knot. So we need to break free from our concepts of what binds us, or perhaps like the Yazidi, tie and untie the knots. We need to establish our kingdom, set up our own monuments, find our place of rest, figure out our vehicles and our tools along the way. And I know it's not the point, but we have sacred animals that we can refer to. We have our form of consciousness that we go out and project with. We have things that work together and are put through the process. Our feelings, our emotions are something that we turn over, not to some mere national or mere hereditary grouping that we have found ourselves in, but towards something greater. Yes, politics are a tool, philosophy's a tool. That's why I'm sending these things for us to consider. Now, what is the difference between the dual and the triple? Certainly the dual tends to be more limited implication. The triple crocodile, or the 5 crocodiles or something, would imply something entirely different in terms of an open expansiveness of things. We have the mystery school of these particular animals. You know, it's an animal that sits itself. Oh, that's an arrow to point out the variations of crowns and other things, buildings, scenery. The reference to the terrain. These things refer to more than we can possibly ever list out. It takes us to planes where we are met with the completion of other beings.